Running your own business is awesome. It's the dream, as they say, but it's very stressful as well. Customers, they'll see the front end, the products, the signs, the slogans, the happy owner, but it's the back end of the business that really drives the ship. The inventory management, the sales conversions, order processing and shipping. The business behind the business is the key to business. And for millions of businesses around the world, that business behind the business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're home of the #1 checkout on the planet, which is why so many businesses work with them. And Shopify brings the heat with their secret weapon, Shop Pay, which boosts sales conversions by up to 50%. And that means way fewer carts are being abandoned to checkout and way more sales are going. If you want to grow your business, you better be ready to sell anywhere and everywhere your customers are. Scrolling social media, on your website, in your store, and everywhere in between. It's no secret. Businesses that want to grow with Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Heinz and Mattel use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/RTG, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/RTG to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/RTG. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast. It is where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week, it is episode 340, and we're taking a rare trip down 3DS lane and talking Super Mario 3D Land for said Nintendo 3DS. We need to show the DS and those DS cultists some more love moving forward on the show. I'm such an old boomer. By the time the DS came out, I was like not playing as much. I was old, my vision was going, and I was out doing the bar thing and stuff. There's so many of you are younger than me, and the DS is your Game Boy, and we need to start showing the DS family some more love. And we will. I promise we will. If you're new to the show, I am a 41-year-old lifelong Mario fanboy. We will cover all of his platformers on this podcast at some point. We've done quite a few of them over the years already. And Mario 3D Land has always felt like kind of one of the more forgotten or underrated Mario games. Maybe that's just because I didn't play a lot of 3DS, but I always forget about this one, and it's really solid. It is much, much better than New Super Mario Brothers 2. Don't at me. I fucking hate that game. I do think 3D Land loses some points with people because it almost feels like it's forcing the 3D down your throat. You know, like another note for show newcomers is that I'm almost blind in my right eye, so I can't see 3D in movies or games or what have you. And while I consider myself a pretty competent Mario player, I did find some of the platforming in 3D Land tough. And it's because the camera's at this weird, like, fucking 30-degree angle above you. I don't know. I found it very difficult to stick some of the tighter landings. And I don't know if they would have been easier if I had used the 3D or not. I don't know. But either way, like Mario 3D Land, good platformer, really good. It's going to get a good score from me. I really like this game. Lots of levels. It brings back both the Leaf and the Tanuki suit from Mario Brothers 3. Really solid. Good game. Pending Remember the Game Hall of Famer and co-host of our world-famous Simpsons podcast, Purple Monkey Dishwasher, Mark McCue is my guest this week, and he has a SAWFT spot in his heart for Mario 3D Land. We tell a very funny story about Mario and his 3DS almost ruining my comedy career back in the day, and between tangents, we get into the seedy underbelly of Super Mario 3D Land and agree that it's just a really good time. It's a good fucking game. And to follow up on something that we talked about when we recorded the chat about 3D Land, we did it on Saturday, I think, Saturday or Sunday. It's Tuesday afternoon now. I've been playing Mario 3D Land ever since we finished that recording. I have the final level of the game unlocked where you, like, after you do everything in the game, beat it with Mario, beat it with Luigi, get all the coins, get all the flagpoles, you unlock this final level. I have not beaten it as of this recording. It's fucking pissing me off. But I always beat those tough final levels. So I will, bet your ass, I will beat it. And then I'll post on social media when I beat it. So I have proof that it happened at Remember the Game On Twitter and Instagram, by the way. I never think to promote that. Never remember the game, at Member the Game. You can find us over there. So I usually post about the games I'm playing and stuff like that. The platforming in that final level of 3D Land is pretty frustrating, and I was playing it as Luigi like a dumbass. Once I switched back to Mario, it became much easier. So anyways, that's an update on my quest to power through a tough level. We'll talk about all of that and a little bit more Super Mario 3D Land in just a minute, because speaking of powering through something tough, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard and consider this your warning. Listen, our intros are kind of long. They're not that long. They're kind of long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. They're a good time. And you don't need to be able to see 3D to skip past them. You just slide that little slider thing on your phone to about the 30-minute mark, and you'll be there. Or if you sign up on our old Patreon box there, you get the entire 340-episode catalog of Remember the Game, 100% ad-free with timestamps. Bada bing, bada boom. You're laughing. New episodes go up there every week. And then obviously all of our other shows that we do go up over there as well. It really is the lifeblood of the show. We publish 4 additional shows every week. A Simpsons show, a rambling show, a second video game show, and a gaming news show. None of them have ads, and you can start listening for as little as $3 a month. You can also write into the podcast. You can vote on the games we cover. Join our 1,000-plus member Discord. You get instant access to our entire archive bonus episode library. And most importantly, you get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name. Like I'm definitely going to do to one of these people. I think I'll get the rest, though. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Luke, that's fake as fuck, Vaflex Gaming, Elron Hubcap, The Moxley, Jake on Toast, Tanner Williams, and Blue Wizard is about to die. It's your fault. Thank you all so much for the support. Welcome to Remember the Game Industries. Find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. There's some freebies over there you can try out for $0. Subscriptions start at just $3 a month. If you sign up for a year, you get your 12th month for free, and we donate 5% of that income to the Stollery Children's Hospital, because it helps me sleep a little easier at night. And we have merchandise. You can find it at rememberthegamepodcast.com as well. Shout out to my man Joe from 4545 Creative for designing it. There's your plugs. Let's get into the show. It's enough blowing myself. That's how I always do the segue. I fucked it up. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. And before we get blowing this week, I just want to quickly say, I can't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but I talked about how we were planning a Crazy Taxi episode. And if you follow us on Twitter or Instagram or on our Facebook group, you may have seen me post about it. I've decided to shelve that episode for a while. I have no ill will toward Crazy Taxi at all. It's very fun. I'm not particularly good at it, but it's a really good time. I just don't know if there's enough meat on the bone for me to do an episode. And I know people have pointed out, buddy, you did an episode on Duck Hunt. You did an episode on Tetris. I have like 35 plus years of nostalgia with those games to draw on. I have a week of nostalgia with Crazy Taxi. So the day is maybe coming where one of the episodes we do for Patreon sometime on Expansion Pass is called Mini Indie Reviews. And I'll take 3 indie games that I don't really have enough to talk about for an hour, and I'll give them each like 15 minutes. Maybe we'll do something like that on RTG at some point and do some bite-sized reviews. If we ever do that, Crazy Taxi is on the list. It'll get an episode. But I've decided to kind of hold off on it for now because I just, boy, it's really fun. But that is the tiniest wing in the basket of chicken wings. There is not a lot of meat on that bone. All right, so sorry, you Crazy Taxi fans. Don't worry, we have lots of good episodes coming up. I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. Let's read some of your comments here. Where are we now? I lost them all because I suck at my fucking job. Here we go. Hello, Mr. Thompson said, there have been games you've reviewed on Remember the Game, and due to various reasons, you weren't able to finish them. What are games you didn't finish, wanted to, and then came back to finish later? Now, I'm not going to bullshit you, Mr. Thompson. When I put your comment in here, I thought you said, what games did you not finish that you want to come back and finish later? Not which ones did I? Because which ones have I actually done that to is very few. I did it with Batman on the NES. I grinded out for like a year and beat that fucking game. Oh, that one was fucking tough, man. Holy shit. But most of the ones that I say I'm going to come back and get good enough to beat, I don't end up doing it just because I try to play through a game a week for this show, plus keep up with modern games, plus have a life, and I'm playing hockey again and stuff, and I just haven't had enough time. But if you're wondering, some of the games we've talked about recently that I would love to find time to go back to beat, which is why I need to get back on Twitch. And I appreciate those of you that keep asking me. I really am trying to find time to get back on Twitch. I still want to beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I still need to beat the last level of 3D Land, which I will fucking do. Comic Zone is one I want to go back to and finish. I've never done a 100% run of Yoshi's Island on the SNES. I've gotten to World 5. Like, I've beaten the base game, and I've gotten to World 5 where I do everything. But some of those fucking bonus levels and trying to 100% some of the levels in that game is vicious. Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo is another one. So I can't think of too many that I actually have gone back and beaten, but there are lots that I want to. And I might. I'm stumbling all. I don't know where to go here. I really want to, but just fuck. There's just not enough hours. Sleep is the problem. Without sleep, we'd be laughing. Colin Toba said, hey, Adam, any chance of an Atari 50 or Super C episode? Super C, I'm not I adore Contra, but when we did the Contra episode back in the day, we kind of combined Contra and Super C. I don't know if there's enough there for like one each, so we kind of just did both. I don't know if I'd probably be more likely to do the Contra game on the Genesis than I would to dedicate another one to the NES Contras, even though they're better. Atari 50... maybe someday for expansion pass. Atari's tricky because I do get the occasional request to do some Atari stuff on here. I have never played an Atari game. And I know that 50 collection is supposed to be really good, but I'm like, fuck, it's like I've started playing that UFO 50 on Steam a little bit, and it's really fun too. But I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to review this. So I have no nostalgia to it or anything. I'm not saying no, but admittedly, it's not at the top of my my radar, as the pilots say. I think pilots say that. Tim Vitullo said, Blankosaurus Rex, I'm finally getting around to playing both The Messenger and Sea of Stars. Shame on me for taking so long. I know. Agreed. I've successfully avoided story spoilers for both games, but I am aware they're related. Which game should I play first? Thanks in advance for the guidance. I'm always down to provide some guidance. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. Like, they're from the same universe, but outside of a couple of, like, inside jokes, it's not like so The Messenger came out first, so I would recommend playing The Messenger and then playing Sea of Stars. Definitely play both. They're both fantastic. Fantastic games. But you really don't need to know what happens in one to tie it into the other. If I have a criticism of Sea of Stars, and it's a stretch, I was hoping for a little bit more of a tie into The Messenger. And there's really not much, in my opinion. But, so you're good. I would play The Messenger first just because that's the way they came out. You're going to love both, I think. They're both. Sea of Stars, outside of Expedition 33, is the best RPG of the last... oh, God, I can already hear the RPG nerds. I don't play a lot of RPGs. Sea of Stars is the best RPG I have played, aside from Expedition 33 in the last, maybe 10 years. That game is sick. Play it. Play it on The Messenger's just good times. Speaking of The Messenger, too, that Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is coming out at the end of the month. That's the new throwback-looking Ninja Gaiden game. Oh, just put it in my veins. Between Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remastered, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, I have no idea how the fuck I'm going to play everything right now. It's insane. So many games. Josh Gould says, hey, Adam, I recently picked up Shredder's Revenge in the eShop, and I wanted to ask you about the different shades of green you could choose for the turtles. I remember the action figures we used to have as kids having different colors, but I never knew why. What's the deal with the different shades of green? You know, I got to be honest with you, Josh, despite the fact that I'm a lifelong TMNT junkie, I don't know. I've always assumed it was just like, I know in Rise of the TMNT, they were different brands, different species of turtles. But like in TMNT, like 03, they had different colors and stuff. And I maybe it's just like define them differently, I guess. I always thought they looked cool with different colors, but I don't know if there was, I don't know. Shitty answer, but I don't know. Frankly, just any time to talk Ninja Turtles, and shout out to Shredder's Revenge. Still the best Turtles game ever made. That game is fire. Super Jess says, apologies if this has been discussed, but are you a fan of Undertale? When this game released, it absolutely captivated me. The fact that one dude basically created a game just so he had a game to write a soundtrack to was incredible. At the time, I was also an amateur composer / chiptune artist, so it struck all the right chords. I get what you did there. The soundtrack is complete perfection. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game / OST. I'm going to be honest, Super Jess. I have played it. I have beaten Undertale. A listener gifted that game to me years and years ago. I don't remember the soundtrack at all. I'm sorry. It's probably been, I mean, if the show's been around for 7 years, it's probably been 5 or 6 since I played Undertale. So I don't remember the soundtrack at all. I remember it being cool. I don't think I liked it as much as some did. Not that it was bad. a lot of people were like comparing it to Earthbound, and I think only in the sense that it was kind of zany. It's not like on my top 10 RPGs list or anything, but I did a run through and I thought it was neat. I will probably play what's Deltarune. I'll probably play that one once all the chapters are out. I'm just gonna wait. I'm not going back. Come on now. I'll do it one time. But yeah, Undertale was neat. I don't remember a lot about it other than it being weird and the skeleton guy was your friend. But it was a funky game. I did 2 playthroughs. I did one where I played like normal, and then one, I can't remember if I killed I think I killed everyone. I killed everyone. I went scorched earth on that game. It was neat. Snail Jazz says, broke out the SNES for my 7-year-old daughter to introduce her to gaming. We're currently playing Super Mario World. What other games would you recommend that aren't too difficult for a beginner? You know, that's a great question, Snail, because I thought that'd be a layup. And then when I went to answer it, I struggled to answer it as much as I struggle to do a layup. And I'm really bad at basketball. So I'm fucking embarrassing at basketball. It is like white men can't jump, and I am like mayonnaise. Basketball is not, I'm a short white guy that's not particularly athletic, has no depth perception. Basketball is not for me. I suck. Anyway, I don't know how I got on that tangent. Oh yeah, right. So, cause it was hard. So I had to think about this for a bit. Kirby Superstar, I think, is one that I was trying to think, like, what was I playing? Cause I was 10 or 11 when we got a Super Nintendo, but it's close. So I was like, what was I playing? Kirby Superstar, probably be a good one. I think she could have some fun with Link to the Past. She's probably not going to beat it, but just to run around and explore that map is a good time, especially if you were to give her like a later file where she had more abilities to get around in. And I would highly recommend Mario Paint. Buddy, Mario Paint is the way. That is the answer. There's a lot of tough Super Nintendo games. Those would be off the top of my head, those would be my suggestions though. Virtualix12 said, hey, Adam, I know you're a fan of Tetris 99. Indeed, I am. What theme do you use the most? Are there any that you regret cashing in your tickets for? My go-to lately has been the Donkey Kong theme. It hits the nostalgia for the SNES games and has a nice vibe that helps me get in the zone in Tetris, although I'm still waiting for that elusive first place finish. So to answer your second question, there's none that I regret cashing in tickets for, because I just like collecting. To quote Marge Simpson, I just think they're neat. I just like the themes. I want all of them. As far as the ones that I use, the 3 I play on the most and the 3 I win with the most are Splatoon, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and Metroid Dread. I like the Bowser's Fury one as well, but Splatoon, 3 Houses, and Metroid Dread are my go-to 3. I think I don't like the ones where the pieces aren't as easy to see. I need a nice, crisp... Fire Emblem 3 Houses is probably my goat. I love the music, and the pieces are super solid and easy to see and easy to tell the colors of and everything like that. Those are the ones I stick to the most. Shout out to Tetris 99. I've been playing that lately. Good A got me hooked on that again. I love that stupid game. And then finally, before we move on, it's letter time. Idolized Crumble wrote in and said, Mr. Blank, I put this question forward to you, sir. Is Xbox becoming Sega? Hear me out. They seem to be giving up on consoles, but trying their luck with a handheld, a little like Sega's Game Gear attempt. However, let's remember they're a PC company, really, so it's almost a hybrid. They're now selling their games over multiple consoles, and some of them are still great. With the latest layoffs including Forza, surely we're looking at the end of Xbox being a console maker and just a games publisher and online service via any device they can get on. What say you? A lot of people have been saying that. I don't think so. And I can't believe I've dropped 3 of these in 18 minutes. But if you're new to the show, Nintendo has always been my console of choice. And while I play Xbox and PlayStation as well, I play most of their big games, I've always liked Xbox better. Ever since the first Xbox, I'm not one of those, you fanboys, fucking the most obnoxious pieces of shit in the world. You play Xbox, your mom has AIDS. You play PlayStation, you're a Sony pony. I hope your house burns down, you fucking idiots. But I like the Xbox controller better. I like Halo and Gears. I like the UI, the interface of Xbox. All that being said, they have lost. I'm not as big a fan of Xbox as I was 2 weeks ago. Those layoffs, I understand that's part of business. We got into this on Game Patch this week for all you patrons, our gaming news show, but those layoffs were brutal. That said, Xbox's revenue from Xbox is up. They're saying they're still working on new hardware. They're saying they've got another console coming. I don't think they're getting out. I do think we're going to see a new Xbox in the next 24 months. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think Microsoft sees what a massive slice of pie gaming is in the world's economy, and they want as much of that slice as possible, and so they can't leave. And you know what? I know some people think it would be the smart play for them to go third party and just get out of making consoles and just make games. I promise all of you, as a supporter of Game Pass, who's now somewhat second guessing my decisions and wondering if this is really, it's great for a consumer because I get games for cheap. I don't know how good it is for the industry, but I'm telling all of you, whether you love Xbox or you hate Xbox, if Xbox goes away, we all pay the price. For pro wrestling fans, tell me how WWE did after WCW went down. I know it shined for a little while, and then things went to shit. We need competition is the spice of life. We need it. PlayStation needs somebody out there, not even necessarily keeping them honest, because PlayStation's kicking Xbox's ass, but they need somebody to just remind them, hey, if you take your foot off that gas pedal, somebody will pass you. And if Xbox goes away, PlayStation basically goes unchecked, and they can do whatever they want. And I love Nintendo, but at this point, I don't even look at Nintendo as particular competition. They're on like a 4-year different console release cycle. They're sticking to the hybrid handheld model. Maybe a little bit more this generation because they're going to get more third-party support because the Switch 2's got a little bit more junk in the trunk, and it can keep up. But we need, even if you never have played or never intended to play Xbox, we need Xbox to keep PlayStation on their heels. And we need PlayStation to keep Xbox. Like, you don't want it to be a one-system world. You don't. I'm telling you, it would be a bad, bad thing. So I don't think Xbox is going anywhere. I think they're going to keep making consoles. I think they're going to keep trying to get Game Pass on everything that they can. I don't know if it's going to work, but I can't see Microsoft throwing away a 20-year brand. They just, keep in mind too, they just sunk $70 billion into Activision Blizzard. And I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think they stay some form of a console manufacturer for the foreseeable future. And I'm telling you, it's good for all of us if they do. In a perfect world, they get back to the 360 era and they actually compete. But just to be around is better than nothing. I'm telling you, I really believe that. So anyway, thank you everybody that wrote in as always. If you want to know more about my thoughts on the Xbox layoff scenario, again, on Patreon, our gaming news show this week, I kind of went over all of it and it fucking sucked. But let's switch things up and get to our Smash It segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play one, remake one, erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week, I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one, and we'll get to that in just a minute. This week, we're talking Mario 3D Land, so I went with 3 additional Mario handheld platformers. You have Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins for the Game Boy, New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS, and Mario 64 DS for the DS. And a whopping 42% of you said you'd play New Super Mario Bros. 2, remake Super Mario Land 2, and erase Mario 64 DS. Let me see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. It was not that. I can fucking tell you that right now. Rock Candy said, this one is easy for me. Play Mario Land 2 because it's the only one out of these that I haven't played yet. Remake Mario 64 DS because I loved this game as a kid, and I remember having so much fun playing the versus mode with my friends at school. It would be so cool if the remake had online for versus mode instead of just being restricted to DS downloads. And then erase New Super Mario Bros. 2 because even though I like this game, there's plenty of more New Super Mario Bros. Games out there that I prefer over this one. Yeah, New Super Mario Bros. 2 is my least favorite Mario platformer of all time. It's all about collecting coins and it sucks. I don't like that game. Max Power said, play Mario 64 DS. I hate the Nintendo 64 due to that shitty controller. I'd like to give this game a chance. Remake New Super Mario Bros. 2. I haven't played a non-racing Mario game since Super Mario World. I don't know what to remake it on, so I'll say give it a soundtrack like Mega Man and keep the rest as is. Mario tunes, although iconic, pale in comparison to Mega Man. And then erase Mario Land 2. It's the only one of these I've played. Platformers are not really my jam. Who's the fuck? I didn't know there were people out there that didn't like platformers. It's like, I don't care for water. It's not, I like to drink, but water is not for me. Platformers. Wow. All right. I do agree on your 64 controller take. That thing's a piece of shit. I agree with that. Highly Paid Racer said, remake Super Mario Land 2. It's the oldest of the bunch, and I'd love to see a high-quality Game Boy remake maxing out the system's potential. Play New Super Mario Bros. 2 because it looks cool and isn't a port of a Nintendo 64 game, which we'll be deleting because ports have no place within these walls. Nice pull, highly paid racer. Anytime a Superintendent Chalmers shout-out gets some love on here, Simpsons fans unite. I get you. Christopher Lee Williams said, play New Super Mario Bros. 2. It's great as is. Remake Super Mario Land 2 in the Wonder style. Broaden the screen view and add a Mario campaign that shows how Mario took Mario's castle. I think that auto-corrected. I think that was supposed to say add a Wario campaign that shows how Wario took Mario's castle. But it is funny that it's all Mario. That is funny. And then erase Super Mario 64 DS because the N64 version would still exist and holds more nostalgia for more gamers. I can't get on board with your playing New Super Mario Bros. 2, but I do agree with the 64 more nostalgic. I agree with that. Ant-Man 242 said, play Mario Land 2 since I haven't played it before. Remake Mario 64 DS with the Odyssey graphics and online play, and then erase New Super Mario Bros. 2 since this series has plenty of entries and they all tend to blend into each other. Losing one is not the end of the world. Agreed. Different order though. I'm gonna go with the runner-up. 19% of you voted the way I would have this week, including Jamie Ronstadt. I hope I said that right, who said play Mario 64 DS on a 3DS with the joystick, remake Super Mario Land 2 with Super Nintendo's Super Mario World engine, increase the amount of levels for each zone, make the bosses tougher, and maybe include Waluigi, and you have an incredible game on your hands. Well, I have not played New Super Mario Bros. 2. Apparently, it's pretty average, so I'm going to have to erase it. Not the same order, but same logic. Or not the same logic, but same order for me. Excuse me. I'm going to play Mario 64 DS because I never really have. I've played it in like little tiny bite-sized chunks, but I've never just done a playthrough of Mario 64 DS. So I want to judge for myself because I like Mario 64 when I can play it with a controller that's not the N64 controller. So I'm going to remake Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, because I fucking love that game. Plus, that was the debut of Wario, who's one of my favorite characters ever. So I like everyone that's saying make it in the Super Mario World style. I think that'd be sick and add more levels. And then I'm erasing New Super Mario Bros. 2 because I think it sucks. Well, sucks is maybe harsh, but it's the lemon square in the box of chocolates. It's just my least, it's my least favorite Mario platformer. Don't care for it. Anyway, thank you everyone that rode along and played with us. As always, I appreciate it. What have I been playing over the last week? A ton. I have Mario 3D Land, which we're about to talk about. Kirby's Dream Land 2, which we're recording this week. That's coming up in a very near episode. Metal Slug 3, which is the replacement for the Crazy Taxi episode. I'm really enjoying that one. Contra 3 got me on a run and gun kick. Metal Slug 3 is a pretty good fucking time. Dude, I'm playing Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, which won our Patreon poll a couple of months ago. The first hour of it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Well, how does the fucking light world and dark world work? How does the fast travel work? This fucking camera's making me crazy. And now that I'm about 4 hours in, I really like it. The camera still makes me crazy. It's definitely a PS1 camera. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. So that one's coming in a future episode. And then I've been playing Doom the Dark Ages, which is a really good time. I'm going to review that on Expansion Pass soon. And when the itch strikes, I'm still hopping into Mario Kart World for some knockout tour races. I went back-to-back online with wins the other day, and I'm going to brag about that for weeks because it's probably the coolest thing I've done in weeks. Big fucking deal. That's what I've been playing. Okay, here's what's going to happen. We're going to pause here. We're going to let a sponsor in to do their thing to help me keep the bills on and pay for all these games. And when we get back, it is Mario 3D Land from here to the end of the episode. All right, we'll be right back after this. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's talk some Super Mario 3D Land. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. A lot of nostalgia-filled comments this week, so I couldn't read all of them, but, well, I could, but it'd be a long section. But let's read a few. Gabriel Stein, Gabriel, said, "Oh man, I still remember playing this game when I first got a 2DS. This was one of the first games I bought for that thing, and I have lots of great memories playing it. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it, Adam." That's still, like... So did you struggle on the 2DS? Because then you're in the same boat as me where you can't see the 3DS. I wonder. I always wanted a 2DS because I didn't care about the 3D, but I like the clamshell because I break my devices if they're not closed. Ian Bruce said, "Crazy to say, but this was actually my first Mario platformer. I wasn't a Nintendo kid growing up, and so when I bought a 3DS, I got this game to go with it, and ended up getting the 100% completion by the time the weekend was over. Fun little game that got me into 3D Mario, so I enjoy it for that. Happy to see this gem get revisited." I can't imagine this being my first Mario. That's, oh God, I can't fathom that. That's just crazy to me. Big Chungus said, "This one hits me right in the retro. I still remember getting this game on my birthday when it came out, playing it for hours. As someone who grew up in this era of gaming, I'm struggling with the comments this week. As someone who grew up in this era of gaming, it's nostalgia out the ass on this one. And while it may not be the best Mario game ever, it's still one I 100% every couple years." You guys are just making me feel old, talking about playing it as kids and shit. Jesus Christ. Kelly said, "I absolutely love this game. I haven't thought about it in years. I love the more streamlined 3D style that's more like the 2D games. It's also a game I remember getting when I was pretty young and asking my dad for help with it. He always hated video games, but he actually helped me figure out what I needed to. Very wholesome memory." See, that's nice, because I remember asking my dad to try to help me to play games with, like, the NES, like the original Super Mario Brothers, and he would just run my character off an edge and then be like, "I don't know, it's broken," and walk away. Fucking brutal. True fucking story. Fucking brutal. Lee Carvalho's putting challenge said, "A staple of the 3DS lineup. Pretty equivalent to Super Mario 3D World, which is impressive around the go. Just didn't quite hit as much as a console Mario for me. Still a fair entry, though." And that's the thing with any handheld Mario, is like none of them hit as hard as the console ones because they're on limited hardware. I think it's a very competent portable Mario myself. And Nintendo 64 Chalmers said, "To this day, it's my favorite Mario game of all time. I have 100%ed it thrice. 2 on my 3DS and once on my newer emulation device, Chef's Kiss. I recently finished Super Mario 3D World and each of the games in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, and none of them reached the heights of this one. I think it's the style of levels mixed with it being more zoomed in the 3D World, so you feel like you're more in the action." It's a hot take. I really like 3D World. I like this one too, but I like them spicy, Chalmers. Well done. Mark likes this one. I like it more, but we both like this one. And we're going to tell you all about it right now. I'm going to cue up some Mario 3D Land music. And when it stops, ye old Mark McCue and I will take you back to November 13th of 2011 and take another look at Super Mario 3D Land. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, joining me on this rainy Sunday morning to talk Mario 3D Land, easy for me to say, is a frequent guest of the show. You may remember him from such episodes as Purple Monkey Dishwasher, every episode, and the Super Mario Strikers episode, which is topical right now because it just got added to Nintendo Switch Online. It is my boy Mark, former Remember the Game Hall of Famer / pending / whatever we're calling him now, McCue. That was a horrible. I'm waking up still. Mark, how are you? And have you played Mario Strikers on your Switch yet?
You know what? I've messed around with it a little. It's a lot of fun. It's still a great game.
It really is. I love that fucking. It's definitely better with people. Like, I think that's what hurt the Switch one was just. Yeah, I never played it online, and single player is old fast.
I actually never played the Switch one.
It's good if you've got people to play it with, but otherwise, it's been done.
Like, it's a fun party game, but like you wouldn't play it by yourself. Which...
No. So, no. But I am glad, dude. I must have gotten a dozen messages over the last week about the Super Mario Strikers episode because people have gone back to listen to it now that it's on Switch Online, and that's the infamous "Your Dad's Soccer Song" episode.
Dude, I fucking love that. I actually, because like every now and then I'll go to the YouTube video of like my dad's soccer song, and like more and more comments are popping up that are like, we're here because of Remember the Game. Like, I'm sorry, Dad. This is your 15 minutes of fame, and I took it from you.
That's awesome.
And I made
Well,
it about me somehow.
yeah, at least the song. If you don't know what we're talking about, go. I'm not even going to spoil it because I'll get an extra download out of it. Go back and listen to the Mario Strikers episode, and probably I would say outside of maybe yelling at Echo the Dolphin or Mario is Missing, the most infamous episode of the show is that Mario Strikers episode, and it has nothing to do with Mario Strikers, sadly, but good game. Play it. So is 3D Land. This is a good fucking game, buddy. I
Yeah,
like it.
this is a good game.
Yeah, I replayed it this last week for the first time since it came out because I bought it when it came out. One of the only classic like 3DS games I played back in the day. I didn't play a lot of 3DS. And then replaying it this last week, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like a top 5 Mario game or anything, but I was thinking about it. I truly think this might be the most underrated Mario game. I don't know how many Mario games are underrated, but I think this one is.
See, I don't know if I agree. I think that this is an accurately rated Mario game.
No one talks about it. And it's a good game. Like no one like again, like I don't think there is a Mario game that you could say definitively is underrated because they're all so, they're Mario. Everybody fucking knows Mario, right? But I feel like this is one of those ones where I'm just like, dude, I never hear anyone talk about this game. And it was really, I'll hear the argument that in some ways it's just a giant tech demo for the 3DS, but I think there's a really solid Mario game in there. I think it's better than average.
I want to make it clear off the top that I like this game and I had a lot of fun with it. I played it like playing it for this episode. Last Sunday I played it all in one day, which you don't do that with a game that isn't fun. But I've got some things that really bug me about this game as well that I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah, I have a couple of gripes as well. So like if you haven't played it, which I say by chance, but if I think it's underrated, then more people haven't played it. It was a 3D game on the 3DS, and it kind of at times feels like they took like Mario 1 and Mario 3 and made them into 3D. Like they bring back the Tanuki suit, they bring back the leaf with the raccoon tail and ears and that kind of stuff. There are levels that look and sound like classic Mario 1 and Mario 3 levels, but they're all done in 3D. And I should get this out of the way. I probably will have mentioned it during the intro that I haven't recorded as of yet. I have one eye. Like I can't see out of my right eye hardly at all. So I genuinely cannot see 3D. So I have never been able to play a game with the 3D slider on. I did have a couple of people write in and say this is one that really needs to be played in 3D. But I've also had people like yourself tell me that like you just leave the slider down. Am I missing out at all with not playing this one in 3D?
I left the slider down pretty much the whole. Like there are a few sections there that like it kind of tells you like you should have the 3D on right now, and then I turn it on. I'm like, oh well, this hurts my face. Like why?
Right.
Like I hate this. Like I actually kind of. Like, as much as I love the 3DS, as much as I love the games that came out for it, I hate the 3D. The 3D does not work for me because like you have to be kind of looking at it from the right angle for it to work. And like if you move a little bit, it's like, oh, now this is just fucking my face. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've never been able to see it. Like whenever I go to a 3D movie, I have to wear the glasses because it's fuzzy. But if I don't but when I wear the glasses, I can't see any 3D. It's just a regular movie. And I don't know if she's just trying to make me feel better, but like I have never been to a 3D movie with Shaylee where she's like, oh, that was sick. Like everyone's always just like, it is what it is. It's fine. And so that's what I've always interpreted it being like on the 3DS. Because there are definitely levels, and that was my biggest gripe with this game, I think. I'm curious if you felt this. Like I found there were levels where it felt like they're really trying to push you toward using the 3D, trying to gauge where you're landing and the way you're running sometimes really fucked with me. And I don't know if it's because I can't see the 3D to do it or if I just suck at video games. But it felt like the camera was at like at times, especially kind of top down. It was almost at this like 30-degree above you view. And I found it hard to tell where I was landing without a leaf to kind of float down to my landing spot.
Yeah, yeah, and like, but even then, I felt that when I took, and maybe I'm the only person because like I have listened to other reviews of this, and I might be the only person because a lot of people are like, man, the 3D works great for this, but every time I turn the 3D on, I'm like, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed right now. I'm turning this off immediately.
Okay. But now that said, with it on or off, like, did you have any trouble? Like, do I just suck? Did you have any trouble landing
Oh,
some
no,
of the
no, I
jumps in this
definitely had
game?
trouble, like, definitely there were definitely there are definitely, like, sections where I'm like, "Oh, okay, I see where they're going with the 3D." They want you but that's the problem with the 3D thing for this game, is that they have made a problem that only the 3D can fix, when it's like, you didn't have to make that problem.
Yeah, but that's what
You could
Nintendo.
have designed this in a way where you could kinda tell where you're going, but it's just like, "Ah, you can't tell where you're going unless you have the 3D," and it's like, "Yeah, but you did that.
But that's
You
what they
didn't have
do.
to do that, but you did that."
Nintendo comes up with a gimmick for their system, and then they figure out a way to like. And I'm a Nintendo. If you're new to the show, like I'm a Nintendo fanboy, as is Mark. Like we love Nintendo, but Nintendo has a way where they'll, they're like, oh hey, the fucking Wii has motion controls. Play this game where you have to waggle your thing. The Switch, you can take the Joy Cons off and use them independently. Play this game where you punch the air and it uses your Joy Cons. The fucking Switch 2 has mouse things in it. So here's a wheelchair basketball game you can play like you're using the fucking Joy-Cons as mouse. The 3DS has 3D in it, so make sure you turn it on for our platform. Like it's just and I feels like no other developer that makes a game for their system gives half a fuck about their gimmicks. It's just them. Like
No, no, that
nobody else
said
fucking
multiple times,
cares.
like, nobody makes better game I don't think anybody's out there making better games than Nintendo for the most part. But then, yeah, they do constantly do these, like, gimmicky games where it's like, "Oh, you've got a" like, I was talking with a buddy, yesterday about the game Okami, and I'm like, "Thank God that came out on the GameCube, because if you know that if it came out on the Wii, it would be like, oh, and you've got to use the Wiimote to like paint certain patterns."
Yeah, yeah. And I just hate the gimmicks. I'm like, I just want to play the fucking game. And I want to make it clear, like I really like 3D Land and I didn't think it was all a gimmick. It's just, man, there's a lot of levels where you're climbing and you're like jumping from rope to rope to rope and climbing and stuff. And there's some pretty precise platforming in it. And again, like if you have a leaf, it's really not that bad because you can float down, make sure your shadows lined up, you're golden. But if you don't have a leaf, trying to stick some of those landings, I get the impression it's designed to use the 3D to stick your landing. And I'm just like, I can't. And even if I could, I don't really know if I'd want to. But without it, there's some levels that fed me like, fortunately, this game, you have so many fucking lives in this game that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
Like
oh my God.
I never hit the game over because
No,
like by
no.
the end of the game I had like 50 lives or 60 or whatever it
Oh
was.
yeah, dude. I fucking we'll get into it, but like I tried to do 100% run. I'm pretty close. By the time I get to the intro done, I might have 100% run done. But going through some of those levels and trying to collect like the big coins and stuff, I was collecting so many coins and one-ups and shit that I had like plus trying to get the top of every flagpole every time you get a one-up and I finished the game with like 120 lives or something, which I'm a huge fan of. I think the era of you have like 6 lives is best left in the NES Super Nintendo days.
And this was
Like
kind of
today,
like that
just let me
in
play.
between that's kind of this in between area too with the lot because like Nintendo was starting to realize that the life system didn't work at this point. So their solution was just to give you more lives. And then by the time we got to Odyssey, they were like, "Oh, yeah, we're just not doing that anymore."
Yeah. Well, I think part of it's because games have gotten so much longer. Like when you like the original Super Mario Brothers, like aside from the speedrunners that can beat it in like 4.5 minutes, like an average, like it's less than an hour and it's done. You know what I mean? Like on a slow run. And so they kind of had to do that, I think, to make sure that like, well, if you game over, you need to start again because otherwise, if we give you infinite lives, everyone's gonna beat this in a fucking day. And whereas now it's like I've been playing 3D Land now for 3 or 4 days trying to do 100% run. And there's a surprising amount of meat on the bone, which I really like. I think handheld games need to have that extra playability because this is the type of game I'm sure a lot of you listeners that played this growing up you played it on your 3DS as a kid, and it's the type of thing you can play in the car, play in bed, play on the couch while you're watching TV. Like, it's not something where you need the TV to play it. So if there's not a lot of extra meat on the bone, you are going to beat it in like a day. so they needed to kind of flush it out a little bit. And that's where the lives, like, my only beef is like, why even have them? Yeah, like
I
the number of times I died trying to collect an extra life because I didn't know it was an extra life. I was looking for the coins and the hidden stuff, and then I found it all it was another life, and I'm like, well, I burned 3 lives to collect this fucking life,
Yeah,
and I
so
have
I'm like net
110.
down 2 lives, and I think it's really just and I think that's the exact reason. It is another collectible, and it gives you something extra to look for.
I guess.
And so, like, you wasted 2 lives, like, trying to get that 1 life. That's another, like, I don't know, 10 minutes of gameplay right there.
I suppose, yeah, it's true. So yeah, because like so to 100% it, like, so you start the game out, you play as Mario, and I really like it's the classic format. It's 8 worlds. Each world's got a bunch of lives plus a bunch of levels, excuse me, plus a couple of like little hidden or not hidden levels, but like bonus quick puzzle levels or challenge levels or toad houses to give you items. And then they end in either a castle or a battleship, which I really liked that they balanced between those because you had the Mario 1 thing where you'd go through a classic Bowser's castle and even have to get past them and hit the button to drop the bridge to drop them into lava, which is classic Mario Brothers 1. And then when you get past it, it's just Toad waiting in the room. But then in
Yeah.
other worlds, you'd go up onto an airship and then have to fight Boom Boom at the end of the airship. And so that really is Mario 1 and Mario 3 combined. And I don't know, call me a fucking fanboy if you will, but I got such a kick out of just jumping back and forth from a Mario 1 castle to a Mario 3 battle, like airship. I love it. Airships are better, but I loved both. I thought they were sick.
Yeah, I do like the airships. The one like, my biggest problem with this game is it came right like, this is the team that made, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, which are these, like, amazing
Pretty good
technical
games.
achievements, just gorgeous looking games, just uh, filled with personality everywhere. And then this game, I it's fun, but it has no personality.
I'll actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll agree with that. Like
Like,
I
there's
really feel
nothing
like it. Yeah, I
the
agree.
whole
I
time
agree.
I'm playing it, I'm like, this definitely is a Mario game. But this and, like, to a lesser extent, 3 and I feel like it's not fair to compare this to later games, so I can't really compare it to, like, Odyssey, or even, like, 3D World, but, like, 3D World kind of had the same problem where I'm like, "Yeah, that definitely is a Mario game," but, like, then you look at, like, games like Odyssey, you look sorry, you look at games, like Galaxy 1 and 2 or Sunshine or even Mario 64. If we're, like, talking classic 3D, like, those games were, like, so full of personality, and then this game was like, because they announced like, oh, we're making a new 3D Mario game just for the 3DS, and it was like, oh fuck. And then this came out, and I'm like, it feels like they just try. It's like what you said earlier. They're just trying to make 1 and 3 into 3D games, which isn't bad. It's fun. It's good, but like, it's not what I want from a 3D Mario.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like because I don't disagree with you there. I will give them a little bit of a pass that like they are on a handheld. Like they do have limited tech compared to when you're on the Wii or the GameCube or the what have you, right? So I'll give them a little bit of wiggle room on the kind of color by numbers that it is in the sense of like they have a little bit less tech to work with, and I'll give them that. But
Sure,
I
but,
do
like,
agree
I think about Link Between Worlds on this. It's same handheld, which is very much a retread of Link to the Past, but then they added an extra twist to it and gave it its own personality in that you can, like, merge with the walls and, like, you had
yeah,
to, like
yeah.
they added so much to it that it felt like its own game. Whereas this, I feel like something's missing here, you know? Like, I feel like just a little extra twist would have
Well,
been
if
nice.
yeah, it just if it really feels like the twist they went with was the 3D,
The
which it
3D,
was
which I
just
kept off because it was annoying.
right. And I agree with you there because I really like this game. Like again, I for me this is my most underrated because replaying it, I was like, man, I forgot how much I enjoy this game. But you're right. Like it doesn't do anything special. It doesn't introduce any new items. It just brings back classic items. It doesn't introduce any new concepts. You just run through the levels. You can add like there's a good challenge to it, especially like I got every one of the 3 coins in both the regular world and the special world, which we'll get to. And that I liked because it again gave you a lot more meat on the bone. And it had some challenge to it at the end as well. But I will agree with that. Like, obviously, Mario 64, well, I don't love it, is the most like revolution. It's that and Ocarina of Time are maybe the most important games of the 3D era. Like, they're so revolutionary. Sunshine at least tried to do something different. I'd argue it didn't really work, but
Yeah,
it tried to do
I'm the
something
same.
different.
I've never really liked Sunshine.
Sunshine
But
irritates me.
it did try something different, and it does have its own feel to it.
Yeah. And then obviously I agree with you. Like I'm a notorious Wii hater, but Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are masterpieces among masterpieces.
Those are probably
They're
the best games
fantastic.
on the Wii.
Oh, that's a low fucking bar. But I agree. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Odyssey is fantastic. I will push back a little on 3D World because I think 3D World, it brings back the characteristics for Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. And when you play it multiplayer, 3D World's fucking sick. Alone, it gets a little old, but with another person, it is a good fucking time. Whereas this one, yeah, if you take away the 3D, it really isn't doing anything special. It's like run through 8 worlds, fight the same bosses you fought, fight the same enemies you fought, use the same power-ups you've used. Just do it in kind of this 3D and then do it again. And it delivers on everything I want it to be. And I do think like for a handheld Mario, it's pretty good. Like, cause like at this point, all you had for handheld Marios, if you don't count the Game Boy ones, is you had Mario 64 DS, which I've never been a huge fan of, but that's just because of my lukewarm reception to Mario 64, period. And if you're new to the show and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. I had a 64 at launch. Like I had Mario 64 at launch, and that was the game that made me realize like I like my games 2D better than 3D. And I've felt that way ever since. I have warmed up to 64, but it still irritates me. And then I think we had New Super Mario Brothers, the first one by then, which was like classic 2D side scrolling, which was fine.
And it
And
like
this,
and this felt more in the vein of that. And like, don't get me wrong, I also really like the new Super Mario Brothers games. I there's like it's a Mario game, and Mario games are always fun.
yeah.
But this felt more like that than it did like the next step in the series.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think it's just because instead of trying something new or trying to level up the series, they were just like, hey, let's just show people what it can happen with 3D. And I think that holds it back. Doesn't I'm really trying not to because I like this game. Like I don't want to I like this game a lot. It's gonna get a good score from me. But it's I maybe underrated, like forgettable. It's a forgettable Mario game, which seems crazy to say about Mario.
Which is
But
kinda
it's
why
just
I say that it is accurately rated. Like,
I don't
it's fun,
know.
like, when it came out, we had fun with it. I remember I bought this, like, because I had a 2DS. I and then, like, I got laid off from my radio job, and for whatever reason, my first instinct was like, "Well, I'm having a shitty day. I'm gonna go buy a 3DS."
Yeah,
And I
that'll
bought and I have it right in my hand right now still. It's like the special edition Mario Land 3DS
is
that
is
came
that the
with
one
the
you were
game.
playing when you were working at Yucks that night?
Yeah, it was.
Son of a bitch. For those of you, just if you'll allow us a quick sidebar, Mark used to work the sound booth at the club, at one of the clubs here in Edmonton. And I was on stage, one of my first times ever working that club. And I was supposed to do a 20-minute set. And Mark works we call it the light. It's a big red light at the back of the room. And he's supposed to flick it on at 18 minutes to let me know I have 2 minutes left before my set is over. And I was like 6 or 7 minutes into my set. And I was honestly kind of bombing. I wasn't doing very good. And Mark hits me with that light. And I knew that I was only 6 minutes into my set. I'm like, no, that's a mistake. And then I kept going. And then he starts hitting me with the light like over and over to be like, hey, Adam, let's go. Fucking get off the stage. And I was like, dude, am I bombing that bad that they're lighting me to get me off the stage? Because it was one of my first times ever working the club. And I know the rules. Like there's a rule in comedy. You do the time you're scheduled to do. But there's also a rule in comedy of respect the light, you know? And so I was like, so do I ignore the light because I know it's early, or do I respect the light? And I just assumed he was lighting because I was doing so bad. So I got off the stage. The headliner's yelling at me for getting off early. And I was like, I don't know. I got to go find out. And I go back to the booth to be the Mark. And I was like, yo, man, what happened? And Mark was playing his 3DS and forgot to stop his timer from the MC's time off the top. So I had all of the MC's time already counted toward my set.
Because
Fucking
all I
guy.
knew is I looked down, I'm like, "Oh, 21 minutes? What the fuck? Okay, well," but I was actually playing Super Mario World, so
Good times. Oh my god, I remember that because then on the second show, because there was two shows in the night, Mark was supposed to light me at 18 minutes, and I came out on stage and he already had the light on, just to fuck with me, and that was such a mind fuck to try to keep doing stand up with the light. I don't know. I hope you don't mind me telling. That's one of my favorite Mark McCue stories. Is that
Yeah,
fucking he was
and I
playing
felt so
Mario
bad. I
and
was like,
fucking
"No, like, listen, I've seen comedians bomb, like, horrendously, like, people were asking their money back level bomb, and I lit them at their time. I lit them at 18 or whatever it is they were supposed to do. I've never lit somebody early because they were bombing.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I'm on stage and I'm like, there's no way. Like cause agreed. I'm like, I have watched some people die a death on that stage. And I was like, I'm not dying. I mean, this is not one to send into a festival, but I'm not dying here. Why am I getting the light? And it's because you're
Well,
playing
and I
fucking
felt bad because
Mario.
you had friends there to see you that
Yeah.
night, and I'm like, "Ah, fuck, what have I oh, shit."
Good times. Good times. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, because again, I wasn't playing a lot of I didn't play a lot of DS or 3DS when they came out. I was in my early 20s. It was an era where I wasn't playing a ton of video games. But I was so excited by the idea of like a new handheld Mario that I scooped this one up. And replaying it now, I'm just like, this is I agree with you that it kind of plays it safe. It doesn't do anything crazy. I agree with that. But I was like, it's really solid. And like it's got a really good difficulty swing to it as well. It starts out those first few worlds, especially because in every world there's 3 giant gold coins you can collect. And you need
Yeah.
all of them if you want to unlock like the extra part of the game. And in the first like 3 or 4 worlds, it's like you can almost play it with your eyes closed. Like it is fucking easy. But then it does start to ratchet up, especially if you want to get all 3 coins. I didn't find them very well like too difficultly hidden, but trying to pull off some of the platforming challenges to get a few of them, especially in the later half of the game, I was going through like 10, 15, 20 lives. And I was
Yeah,
saying
and
to
that's
Mark off air, I was
like
like, this is a very throwable console. Like, this is a little bit ballsy for something that could so easily be whipped against a wall when it fucking makes you angry.
and
And
that's
it's my problem.
what I kind of do like about and like I know that I've shit all over this game for like a variety of things, but like the game is a lot of fun. And one of the things that I like about this and other Mario games is the game is as hard as you want it to be. Because if you
Agreed.
wanted, you could ignore all of the coins and just go like straight to the end, and like you probably do that like not too with like without too much trouble. But like if you're like me, I kind of want to make sure that I have enough coins that so that by the time I get to like a blockade, I'm not like, oh fuck, I don't have enough coins.
Oh
So
yeah,
like,
yeah. I forgot about because I got every coin as I went through the game, so there was never a time where I didn't have all the coins I needed. But yeah, I forgot that as you get later on into the game, it asks you to have a certain number of those 3 coins to unlock certain levels, and if you don't have them, it's like, well, then hike back and
then you have to go back. And like
get
they
them.
don't
Yeah.
add like but, like, they never ask that many of you. Like, by the time, like, you get to the end, I think you need, like, 90 or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
So it's
unless you wanna
very,
try to go,
very
like, for the 100%
achievable if
run,
you're
yeah.
kinda playing casually, but if you're like me, I'm kinda like, "Well, I wanna make sure I have those." I'm
Yeah.
seeing a platform challenge over there, I wanna go do it, and the game's a little bit harder if you play it that way. So I
And
like that. The game's as hard as you want it to be.
yeah, and I'll give like, one of the things I think Nintendo does very, very well is, they balance, like, they'll make a game accessible to everyone. They don't do it with I really wish they'd put more. Every time I bring this up, someone writes in and argues with me. Like, I'm fine with Kirby games being easy. I just wish that they would put a hard mode in there for people that want to have a little bit more bite. For the most part, though, and Mario's a perfect example. Nintendo does a great job of making it accessible to bad players or kids or anyone that sucks. And then they're also like, hey, if you want to, if you like your wings a little bit more spicy, then put this hot sauce on it. And because you said there's a bunch of collectibles. We're gonna, you know what? We'll take the break. And then we'll get into the extra stuff and all that kind of thing. And I want to talk about the music. We still have We'll be right back. Give us a second. Right, just let me collect my thoughts here. It's 8:30. I need another coffee. We'll be right back. So yeah, what I was gonna say before the break is they do a great job because not only are there the three collectible coins that you said, if you just need enough to beat the game, it's pretty simple. But then if you get all of them, then you can actually like when you beat the game, when you beat the end of World 8 and you beat Bowser and save the princess, then it opens up special worlds, and it's not like one special world; it is 8 more worlds,
It's like double the length of the game.
which
It's
I forgot was in there. That's crazy.
which is a cool thing to do. Like I know that we like when we've talked about like how they did that on Pokemon Silver, and like we're never gonna see another game like that again, where like just at the end of the game doubles. And so like it's really cool that they did, because if this game was made now, that would be DLC.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. No, they and I admittedly, again, having not played it for a long time, I completely forgot that extra stuff was in there. And so I beat the game. I beat everything. I got every gold coin, like to the whole first 8 levels. Huzzah. Oh, and going back to your point about how they make it as hard as you want it to be, this was one of the first games where they started introducing the like, hey, need some help leaf. Where if you die enough times, they put the box up there being like, hey, you need a permanent leaf? Need a
Dude,
little bit of help there?
but like I never used it. I never
No, me
used
neither.
it, but
No,
like
no.
every time I saw it show up, I'm just like, you motherfucker. Like they're
I know.
insulting me.
I know. I wish there was an option. Like, I know it's stupid, but I wish there was an option that you could just turn that off to begin with.
Like
Because
it's the
I'm never
game
going to
going like, "Hey,
use it either.
stupid, do you want to play on stupid mode?"
Yeah, I'm never going to play it either, but I don't need it popping up being like, boy, you have died a lot. And I'm like,
And then if
I'm
you really,
aware.
really suck, it gives you a P-wing to just be like, "You could just skip this level if you want."
Yeah. It's like, do you see this fucking vein in the side of my head? I'm fully aware of how many times I have died trying to get that fucking gold coin. Don't patronize me, Nintendo. God damn it. But yeah, so then when you beat the first 8 worlds, you get all the coins, everything like that. You beat Bowser, good times, the princesses. The world is safe again, but for how long? And
Dude,
then
nice. Fallout Boy.
yes,
Or Radioactive Man, sorry.
Radioactive Man. And then it fucking drops 8 more worlds. And like a lot of those the special 8 worlds are kind of reworked versions of the original 8 worlds. Like every level, like because I played through them back to back because I got through all of them. I went through the special 8 and got all 3 coins in the special 8 as well. And I got to tell you, dude, like for people that say this game is too easy, this is not the hardest Mario game or anything, but you go through those special 8 worlds and try to get all the fucking 3 coins in those. Those last 2 or 3 worlds, they will bend you over. Holy fuck.
And
It's oh Jesus fuck.
I like that they put something like right at the end for people who wanted a bit more of a challenge. And I think Mario games in general are really good at that, because like Mario games for the most part, they're pretty simple, they're pretty easy. But then they always give you something at the end that's like, okay, well, you think that's easy? All right, well, try fucking Dark Side of the Moon, or try fucking Darker Side of the Moon.
Yeah, I never want them to stop doing that. Always put that really hard level in at the end. Always. For the people that want it, it's totally optional. No one has to play it, but for those sickos, like that's my Dark Souls. That's my favorite thing. Are those really tough levels at the end of a Mario game? As of this recording, I still haven't unlocked the last final level in this one, because to unlock the last final, like the final level in Mario 3D Land, you need to beat the whole game with Mario, both the regular world and the special world, then beat the whole game with Luigi, the regular world and the special world. You need to get all 3 coins. You only have to do it once, and you need to get every flag with a gold, which means you have to get that very top ball on the flag. And you might be thinking that's not hard, buddy. I'll tell you, especially in the later half of the second world, trying to get those golden flags on some of them without a leaf is fucking brutal. It is, and I will miss it by like a pixel, and I'll be like, I want to challenge that. That is horseshit. I fucking got that. And so what I've taken to doing now is, now that I have every gold coin in both the regular world and special world, I'm going through beating every world with Luigi now. And when you're not trying to collect the 3 coins and I'm literally just running, a lot of them can be beaten about a minute each. But what I'm trying to do is hold on to a leaf in my hold item so that I can break it out at the end when I need its help to get to the top of the flagpole in some of these worlds. And it is fucking brutal, because I don't know, again, maybe it's the 3D, maybe it's just the way it is, but like I had moments where I found it controlled kind of weird. It had the the almost Mario Brothers 1 momentum based jumping. Like
I
if you
felt that
weren't
Luigi controlled very strangely in this game.
that's when they started to do that classic thing where he jumps a little higher and he slides around.
But then,
I
like,
don't
yeah, he also, like, he has less grip, and it's kind of it is kind of annoying. It's like, I get what you're doing, like, you're trading off, like, a higher jump for, like, less traction, but it I've never found that it made it easier. I've always found it made it a little bit more difficult and sometimes needlessly so.
I have never in any game consciously chose to play as Luigi. And I love Luigi, right? Like it's everybody loves
Oh,
Luigi.
no, no, I've consciously chosen to play as Luigi in one game, with
Which
a
one?
really fucking banging soundtrack.
Oh Jesus Christ. Fuck you. Fuck you. Even there, maybe that's where my hatred of playing as Luigi comes from is Mario's missing. But he's just like because like even back as far as Mario Brothers 2, like on the NES, where they introduced that big floaty, weird fucking jump of his, like I just find it's like I get that it's there to make it play different, but I'm just it fucking to me like the jumping in a Mario game is sacred. That's what you play Mario for is the jumping.
He is
And
the jump
Luigi's
man.
yeah, and Luigi's jumping is as wonky as my eye, and it makes me crazy, and I hate it. And I don't hate him, but maybe I maybe I do hate him. I don't know. I fucking hate that jump. And so going back to these levels, I actually find and here's the thing though, is I actually find a lot of the levels in Mario 3D Land easier with Luigi because his big arcing like it's not as dramatic as it is in like Mario 2, but his extra little bit of a jump actually makes some of them like if you don't have a leaf, it gives you kind of an extra half a second to land to map out your landing. Which when you're trying to land on those fucking ropes, that's the part that makes me crazy. Is not easy. There's so many instances in this game where you need to walk like the high wire and do the bouncing from one rope to another, and it's so I don't know, man. Maybe I just suck. I found that incredibly challenging at times. Fucking
Yeah,
made me
yeah,
crazy.
and, like, there's so many times I'm like, I don't know where I'm supposed to, like, be fucking land, and I'm like, "Alright," because they want me to have the 3D on, but, like, I'm not letting them win.
Yeah. And again, if you have a
I
leaf,
won't
it's
play their fucking sick game here.
yeah. Like if you have a leaf, again, to make some of those jumps really isn't that bad because you just float down and make sure your shadow's on the rope and then you're fine. But without it, you don't have a lot of time to fucking react. And another level that's really tough without the leaf is those levels where they've got the red and blue platforms on the hinge. And every time you jump, it goes from like one side to the other side. And so you need to
Oh,
start mapping
yeah.
out your jumps. When you got a leaf, pretty easy because you can like kind of float down and make sure you know what side you're supposed to land on. But when you don't and you're trying to stick those landings, that can be fucking tough, man. Those
Yeah.
those fucking especially, buddy. There's one near the end of the special world where you're trying to get all 3 coins, and in that fucking special world, that painted Mario, I think it's like Bowser Jr.'s stupid fucking weirdo paint, and that like clone Mario is chasing you. You know
Oh
which one I'm
god. Yeah, because, like,
oh.
they had those levels in Galaxy as well,
Yeah, yeah.
where, yeah, like, it's kind of mimicking your movements, and it's really fucking frustrating.
Oh, I like the challenge of that, but there's a level near the end of the special worlds where it's those rotating platforms. So every time you jump, these platforms are on like a hinge. And so to like half of it is blue. And then when you jump, it swings under, comes up on the other half, and it's red. Then you jump, it goes under, comes up on the other side, it's blue. And so I'm trying to go and collect the 3 gold coins while not dying, while making sure I like by not touching enemies because there's enemies everywhere, while trying to make sure I don't fall off the edge. Well, that little painted fuck Bowser or Mario is chasing me. And I was just, that might be the level that killed me the most. It was like right near the end. And I was getting so fucking angry because I knew where I was trying to get all 3 coins and I knew where the third coin was, but it was in like the back corner of like 20 of these fucking rotating platforms. And they're covered in those spinning fire sticks that are going around. Plus, there's these stupid fat bees flying around everywhere. But if I bounce off one to get an extra bounce to land on a platform, then the platforms change so that I need to reschedule where I'm landing on the fly, and I can't turn around and look because stupid painted Bowser's up my ass. And it was as close. If it wasn't for the fact that 3DSs are worth a fortune these days, I may have thrown mine. I was getting fucking angry. And I just was like, Adam, you're a fucking 41-year-old man. And it's like it's a children's Mario game. Calm your tits. But I was like, no, my tits are fired up. I'm fucking angry. Fuck, I hate that. I hate that little painted Mario so much. Fuck, I hate. And you know why I hate him? Because he's from Bowser Jr. And Bowser Jr. is a blemish on society. I hate him so much. What a horrible character. Are you a Bowser Jr. fan?
I mean, I liked the idea when it was introduced in Sunshine.
Sunshine.
I liked him in the Mario Party games. I guess I'm fine with him in like Mario Kart and like Smash, but I,
I hate him.
I'm okay. No, in the Galaxy games, I do like Baby Mario
Okay. Like, well, baby Mario, I could, or baby Bowser.
or Baby Bowser. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
It's like I detest him. The primary reason I hate him is because he basically replaced the Koopalings, and I love the Koopalings. Whereas like this little wiener with his bib and his paintbrush and his annoying laugh, I'm like, dude, you're an original bastard. Like the Koopalings were so cool. I
We've
fucking hate
never
Bowser
seen the
Jr.
Koopalings in a 3D game, and I would like that.
Oh, buddy, that's the biggest problem with Mario Odyssey is that you have to fight those stupid Alice in Wonderland rabbits instead of the Koopalings.
Man,
It's
and
the
you know
only
what?
problem
I
I
did
think.
I did like those. I really did like them because it wasn't just Boom Boom again. It
No,
was it was
agreed.
a new like they made something new, and I do like. But we've never seen the Koopa Kids in a 3D game, and I think there's so much potential because they all have so much personality, and
Yes,
so
they
I
do. They're
think
awesome.
there's a lot of potential there, and just fucking give me it. Just
I
give it.
wish they'd I wish they'd been in this. Like, listen, I think because I really do like the Bowser fights in this one, where you're like, you never really fight him. You're always just trying to dodge him and get past him. And I do love that you need to like get past him, get under him, and then you hit a switch, and then the bridge collapses and he falls into the lava, just like classic Mario Brothers one. It's awesome. And then in the special world, you fight Dry Bowser, who's I've never been the world's biggest Dry Bowser fan, but he's it's fine. He's cool,
I got
but
nothing against Dry Bowser.
he's okay. But
I
I would
like
have
Wet
just
Bowser
preferred.
better.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, moist because I know that word
Moist
bothers people.
Bowser.
I prefer moist Bowser. That's all. But moist Bowser. But I just the Koopalings like they would fit in. So like put them in a game like this. Like why can't we just? I would love a Mario game where it's just Koopalings. It's not even Bowser. It's just the 7 Koopalings. They're trying to like win their dad's love back by defeating Mario or something.
And then maybe
Because
you fight Bowser at the end, kind of like classic like
sure,
Super Mario
sure.
Brothers, but or Super Mario World, sorry. And
Because
like
I like Boom Boom is an institution in the world of Mario. But does anyone get hyped for a Boom Boom fight? You jump on his head 3 times. You jump on him as soon as he starts to move. He's pretty shitty.
yeah,
Like
he's fair and it's usually just a pattern, just you got to wait until he gets dizzy and stops spinning and then you
yeah,
jump on his head and then he pounds the ground with like his shell a bunch and you just got to make sure you dodge that and then he spins and then he gets dizzy and then you hit his head again and yeah
he's pretty
it's
easy.
fine.
I like girl Boom Boom with the boomerang. I don't know what her
Like
name is.
Pam Pam
Boomerang.
I think or
Oh yeah,
something.
Pam Pam, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, there's one part near the end where you have to fight both of them at the same time.
That was
Um,
cool. I really did like that fight.
I did too. I'm embarrassed at how many times I died in that fight, though. Like I shouldn't.
I'm
It's not
embarrassed
that
by how
it's.
many times I died in that level. Like that was probably the level I died the most on. Like by the time I was done that because okay, I beat the level. Like I beat the level I got to because they only give you they don't give you a lot as far as like power-ups for that level.
No,
So
no.
by the time I got to the fight, most times I'd either be small Mario or I'd just be like, normal Mario that like can get small and then die. So I didn't have a lot of grace going into that fight, so I die a lot. And then one time I beat them. And then I got to the next part of the level, and then I missed the flag somehow and fell off the edge of the stage. And
Yes.
that was the moment that I almost threw my 3DS. I'm like,
Oh,
what the fuck, man?
dude, I probably died 5 times trying to do the big long jump to the flagpole and missing it. and then just watching myself like coast off the end. And you're panicking, you're hitting buttons, you're trying to do. It's like the number of times I died in this game where I was sliding down a wall and just jumping and jumping and jumping, trying desperately to find some. And I know I'm not going to make it back up. I'm slowly going down, but I'm still just hanging on for dear life. And it was just, God, oh, fuck, fucking 3D land.
Because it was right there. It was right
Right
there. Like,
there.
I've been on this one stage for like an hour, and I'm like, I'm getting grumpy with my girlfriend, just like, "Oh, can't beat this fucking level," and I'm
And it's one of those like, why are you playing the game? Because it's fun. That's why. Because it's fun. Shut up. It's fun. Um, Another thing that I didn't love about this one was the kind of fixed camera. Like it's got the two buttons on the touchscreen at the bottom where you can kind of rotate it left or right, but you can't really spin it, which at times like maybe that was a byproduct of the 3D. But there were moments where I really wish I could have like turned the camera, and all you can do is kind of make it lean to the side, and then as soon as you let go of the button on the touchscreen, it springs back. And
yeah, yeah.
most of the time it didn't matter,
It's
but
kind of like in Super Mario World, how you could like use the top buttons to like look left and right.
yeah, it
It's
just it,
kind of it was more
yeah.
like that than like an actual like camera control, but
But like and like three-quarters of the levels I felt were side scrolling for the most part. And those ones it didn't matter so much. But in the occasional one where I was like running to the back of the screen, to the front of the screen, or climbing a mountain or trying to go around edges and stuff, it would have been nice to be able to spin that camera around a little bit. And you can't. Like the
see what
touchscreen
was
is
coming, and yeah.
yeah, like so many other 3DS games, like the touchscreen is just kind of useless. Like all it is like there's like 9/10 of it is just filled by your backup item.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's there, but it
And, like,
doesn't
as
do
far as the
anything.
touchscreen goes, I think that's the only like, it's not a terrible use of the touchscreen. Like, I hate I and, like, I know I've sucked this game's dick so many times, but, like, my biggest pet peeve with, Link Between Worlds is that you have to drag your items from the touchscreen into your inventory in order to use them. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, I would really just prefer to, like, old school, like, Link to the Past, just select the item I'm using on the screen. And
The the touchscreen is from day one has just felt like such a and what really sucks is there's so many games that are trapped on the 3DS now because of either the 3D aspect or the second screen when somebody did decide to use it.
it's like when they
And
re-release, like they have like the new, like they have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the Nintendo Online, and I'm kind of like, "Ah, but they did it better on the 3DS. Like I
but
want that. Give me that. Find a
yeah,
way to give me that on my Switch.
but they're trapped. Like and that's I know so many people would love to see 3DS games ported to the Switch too, but like they're just and that's one of the issues with that fucking gimmick is that they're trapped there forever. And I'm sure that's not Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't make games, neither does anybody else. Like they don't make games thinking like, man, I sure hope in 20 years we can fucking port these to something and sell them for pennies on the like they want to sell them at that time, right? But it's just the 3DS. Like I haven't played a ton of 3DS as a whole. This is only the second or third game we've done from the 3DS. But there's some really good games on it that are just lost there now. And I don't see Nintendo ever going to the work it would take to port them because what's the point? Especially with how many times like 3DS games are not expensive. That's one of the great things about the 3DS. Minus a few exceptions, games are dirt cheap. You can get them for like $20 because
Yeah,
there's so many out there.
yeah. Like
Uh
especially like even when they were new, they were like 50 or something like that.
yeah, it really is like when I think of Nintendo handhelds, I think of the Game Boy because I'm old and that's what I grew up with. But the 3DS really was a hell of a system.
It's yeah,
Like
I still have I still play mine fairly regularly. Like there's
yeah.
because there are games that are trapped here. There are game, and you know what? Not just 3DS games. This is the last system that you could buy like the OG Pokemon games on.
Oh yeah, that's right. I I have been predicting for 5 years that they will fucking package them up and sell them on the Switch. And
Which they could, and we would
I don't
all
get
pay
it.
full
I
price
don't get
for it.
it.
They're just leaving money on the table.
I
Like why?
know.
Like and like
Especially a company, I don't know if there's a company on the planet more keen to resell you old games for the 200th time than Nintendo. And then it's like, but then the Pokemon, like they're just, I don't get it. I
They
don't
could give
fucking.
us like a red, blue, yellow, crystal, silver, gold package. Like they could put all of those into like one cartridge, sell it for full price, and then the big gimmick would be like, okay, but you can play online with your friends, and we
Yeah.
would all be like, oh fuck yeah, like take my $80, Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't get it. And I know someone's gonna write in and be like, "Well, Game Freak owns them, not or whatever." Like I know they're the co-owners, all that kind of stuff. But like, if if
But
Nintendo
like,
was like, "Hey, we want to put Pokemon on the Switch," they would be on the Switch. I
but
just
also
don't
the
get it.
Game Freak and like the Nintendo or the Pokemon company, do they not like money?
I know. I
Like,
don't. I
I
don't. It just seems
like
so odd to me, but I
like
digress.
Pokemon like have kind of been like the Pokemon are the highest grossing franchise of all time, which is
Yeah.
weird to think about. So and like you see their game like especially fucking Scarlet and
Violet.
Violet. And it was like, oh, but like you didn't put enough work into this to be like. Anyway, I don't remember what this has to do with Mario 3D Land,
No,
but that's
I,
the game.
well,
Fucking
I think
what a
we were just
tangent
talking
we've
about.
gone on.
Yeah, we were just talking about how great the 3DS is.
Yes.
Um, I feel like this is one of those games. Like this is a must play on the 3DS, 100%. Like I bought a bunch of games from the 3DS eShop right before it closed, and this was one of them. And I'm glad I did because I'm like, I replaying it. I was like, man, this holds up. This is fun. Normally, when I'm done with a game, like once we've done this part, we've recorded the game chat. I put a game to bed, and I'm like, I got too much else to play. I'm moving on. But I do kind of want to go back and just. I got about 4 worlds left to run through as Luigi, and then I'll unlock that last special level. And I'm gonna have to do it now just for the sake of being there. Um, I gotta say, dude, I've probably gotten 15 hours of playtime out of this. Going through the original 8 worlds, and then going through the 8 worlds in the special side, and then getting all the coins, getting all the flagpoles, trying to beat them all as Luigi, and then that last special world. Like for about the $20 that this game will cost you today, this is a great little package. And when I say underrated, I just mean it's like no one ever talks about this one. Like people talk about Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World and Mario 64 and the Galaxy games and Odyssey and all the but like I don't feel like other than like the stupid CDI games that no one gives a shit about, I don't know if there's a mainline Mario game that gets talked about less than 3D Land.
And it's probably because it is like, and as fun as it is, and I am gonna go back and I'm gonna play it again because it's a fun game, but it is also a fairly forgettable game.
It
Like
yeah, it plays it safe.
I put it to bed a few days ago, and like thinking back, I'm like, I can't like other than like there's one level that's kind of set up like a Zelda dungeon, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that
I'm
top down
I'm
one.
having trouble recalling individual levels.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It does a lot well, but it really like it feels like every Mario game has some kind of tweak or innovation or a new power up or something. And this one really like the most if you take away the 3D aspect of it, I think the most memorable aspect of this game is this was the return of the leaf from Mario 3
Yeah, and
and
then
the
like
Tanuki suit, which
even
was
then, that's
cool,
like,
but
but that was like a hey, remember this from this old game? This is a we're bringing it back, and instead of
yeah.
doing, and like the whole game's identity was built around the fact that it was a 3D game. It's right there in the title, 3D Land. But this is the fifth 3D Mario game. So at
And
this
I
point, it's like, okay, but like, what else you got? You know?
and yeah, and I would argue it is less 3D than like Mario 64 is. Because you don't have that free sense of like going anywhere you want. It's the 3D where like he jumps off the screen at you, or so everyone that can see that says. And it's kind of I don't know. It's
You have
eh.
less freedom in this game than you have in like even the Galaxy game. The Galaxy games were essentially just course clear games like this.
Yeah.
But even then, like they gave you a little bit more, like they give you a little bit more like breathing room. Whereas this, it's like here's the path, follow this path. There's some coins if you want to go off the path a little bit, but you're also on a timer, so like don't take too long.
Yeah. I mean, that said though, like when I talk about how I don't think it does anything originated, I stand by my underrated claim. Like before I started replaying this, I would have guessed that my score would have been in like the like 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's fun for 10 hours a Mario game. And it's Like it's a better. Like I'm gonna give it a better score than that. Like I ranked all the Mario games on my very first episode of Expansion Pass, and I need to go back and see where I put this one because I think it probably belongs higher. Like I
As far as like 3D games, though, I can't think of a single except for maybe Sunshine that I would put it above.
I like it better than Sunshine. I like it better than oh yeah, because I don't want to get all the Mario 64 fans on me.
And
I've
here's the
made
thing,
peace with
like,
Mario
you've never been
64.
huge on Mario 64, and that's fine. I understand. Like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, "How fucking dare you? That was an institution." No, the camera was janky as fuck. Like,
Let me
the
say,
level design
Mario
in that, though, is untouchable.
Mario 64 on the 3D All Stars package with like a Pro controller is so much better than 3D Land. But the original Nintendo 64 version, I personally would rather play 3D Land because it
Okay,
just
that's
that
fair.
plays to my style better. I like the
That's
way it feels
fair.
better. But you're right. Like it's never gonna surpass the Galaxies. It's never gonna surpass Odyssey. It's really solid. It's I think we're good. Like we're just gotta go around. I'm done. You done?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We got to score this thing. I'm gonna look up how many 3DSs sold, and we'll score it out of that because I know there's lots. How? That's like 140 some million, I think. How many 3DSs were sold? Yeah, they sold 76 million of them, and then they combine it with the actual DS when they put in like the total sales numbers. So let's score it out of 76 because 76 million 3DSs.
Okay.
So Mark, you are the guest. What would you score this thing out of 76?
I would score this, I'll score this 60 out of 76.
All right.
Like, it's good. It does its job. I have a lot of fun playing it. But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't do enough to, like, really stand out for me.
Sure. See, and that's where I was gonna be, but I'm gonna give it a 70 out of 76. Like when I replayed it, I was like, my only gripe with this game is at times it feels like it's trying to force the 3D thing down my throat. But I love the power-ups. I never even mentioned it. Like some of the music and some of the ways it like clearly pays tribute to classic Mario games, really, really as like an
Okay,
old school
I
Mario
do
fan.
really like that.
Yeah, that really tickled my pickle. Some of them are done so well. Like there are certain levels of this game, particularly the underground ones, where it really feels like you're playing Mario Brothers 1 but like in a new 3D way. Like it was really awesome.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
it
that's
I
true.
liked the challenge, I liked the collectibles, I liked the length, I liked the music.
The
Yeah,
music's great. I fucking love the music for this game.
yeah. I'll give it
I think it
70.
was a live orchestra that they used for this, so it was kinda cool to, like, hear all of those, like, classic pieces, like, kinda rearranged for, big orchestras.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like such iconic music to begin with. But yeah, anytime I hear those songs, like it's one of my favorite things about Mario Kart World right now is just hearing the classic music like
Man, like, just
redone.
driving
Is
around and hearing the classic music, it's so good.
Yeah, it gets me. So yeah, I'll give it a 70, like a 9 out of 10. I think it's a great fucking game. I recommend it to everybody. And I don't know how they ever port these, but I really would love to see like this and even if it's just this and Link Between Worlds, even if those two are the two that got ported,
Oh,
it just feels like such a
that'd be a
shame to
cool
see them
package.
lost.
That
Yeah.
would be a cool package because those were 2 of the best games on the 3DS.
Yeah. Just get rid of the stupid fucking 3D. Or make it so that fucking people with wonky eyes like me can see it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, look out for people like me. Mark, listen, I'll let you get on with your Sunday. We're done this 9:30 in the morning. That was I don't do the early ones very often, but that was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Fun game. I'm so glad. It was fun replaying this one. What a game. What a good
Yeah, and
game.
again, played it all in one day. So, like, obviously, I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Good times. I'm just looking. Oh wow. Would you I'm just before we end, I'm just curious, as I just brought it up, what would you guess is the best selling game on the 3DS?
I'm gonna say Pokemon X and Y.
Those were number two. That's what I would have said as well. They were number two.
Oh,
I don't think I would have gotten number one. And then when I saw who it was, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Mario 3D Land was number seven.
okay. Number what? Was there a Minecraft? Oh no, there wasn't a Minecraft on the 3DS.
No, I don't think so. If there was, it's not on the list. So
Yeah. I don't know
It-
what was number 1.
Mario Kart 7.
Okay.
Which that's another one I
Really?
really want to cover on the show. I really like that game.
I mean, yeah, I have Mario Kart 7. That game's sick.
Yeah, it's a great game, but I just never think to talk
I'd
about
have,
it.
I'd have never guessed that though.
No, it's that and then Pokemon. Because Pokemon equals profits.
Yeah,
So-
well, and like the handhelds were Pokemon machines for so many years.
That's where Pokemon is meant to be played. Yeah. So, all right, buddy, listen, I really mean it this time. I'll let you get on with your Sunday. We'll be back on Tuesday with some you and I'll chat on Tuesday for some Purple Monkey dishwasher. In the meantime and in between time, good times. Thanks for chatting with me, buddy.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
That is going to do it for this week's episode. Mark, thank you so much for sitting down and taking one for the team by forcing yourself to play a Mario game and then giving me a call on a Sunday morning to talk about it. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir, but you're still not getting in my Hall of Fame. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And of course, to every one of you listening to these words, whether this was your first or your 340th experience with Remember the Game, we appreciate you flying with us when you had so many other options, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much for listening. Leave us a nice review if you liked the show. I read them at night when I'm sitting in the tub, and they melt my butter. The main reviews kind of hurt, but the nice reviews are nice. So I appreciate those. And then, patreon.com/remember the game, $3 a month for literally, I think we have... Jesus Christ. There's over 1,000 podcasts over there now, with the 4 new ones going live every week. Plus, you get Remember the Game ad-free with timestamps every Wednesday. Pretty much the greatest deal in the history of the universe. Sign up for a year. We'll give you your 12 months free. And follow me on the old socials. If you're on Twitter, I refuse to call it X. It's so dumb. If you're on Twitter, I'm at Member the Game, not Remember. Member the Game. Same as on Instagram. Look for us on Facebook. I can't remember what the group is called, but if you first Remember the Game, you'll find it. And youtube.com/Remember the Game. I have a bunch of Let's Plays up there, and I'm going to try to get some more up whenever I get time. I don't know when that's going to fucking happen. So, and look for Remember the Game on Reddit. We have a subreddit. It's pretty rad. It's kind of neat. It's cool. As the kids say, it's cool. I think I'm done. Yeah, it's my second podcast today, and we still have to record Purple Monkey Dishwasher in 4 hours. So I'm going to get out of here and get this edited so you can all hear it, and then I'm going to go record Purple Monkey Dishwasher. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. Appreciate you so much. I'm going to shout out some Patreons and leave. If you are a Patreon, we'll be back tomorrow with Expansion Pass 260-something, I think. I'll be counting down the 5 games for every console we cover on the show that I most want to cover on Remember the Game. So if you're always wondering what's on my radar for each system, tune in tomorrow on Expansion Pass. I'll let you know. I rank all the Jurassic Parks movies on the Rambling Idiot this Friday now that I've seen the new one. And we'll be back next week with a whole other slab of podcasts, assuming if something goes according to plan, Kirby's Dream Land 2. But it might be Metal Slug 3. There's a slight chance there won't be an episode next week, but I think there will be. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't fucking know. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Bye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/remember the game, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to rip through their names as quickly as I can. I should have taken a sip of water before we got in here, so you're just going to have to wait while I do it now. Eases the pain. We're going to go in alphabetical order based on your email addresses this week. Let's do that. So a huge thank you to Tyler, Doogie Bowser MD, AB Killen, Just a Fish, Adam Martinet, a dude named Adam, Akiris Network, A-Town, Infinity Rage, Alex R, Andy Hudson, Dave Thompson, Toby OP, Dude Where's My Game, Pee-wee Squitters, Andrew Wright, Benjamin Atkins, Zamatos, Brandon DeZeba, Eldest Millennial, Legend Barry, Hagel Waffle, Dan of Dissect That Film, Nordak, Blobby, oh shit, I forgot, Slick Motherfucking Rick. Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick. My bad, Rick, my bad. Haunt me tonight, that's on me, my bad. Blobby, B Money, Matt Babineau, General Fury, High Plains Drifter, Elijah Burns, Roger Starbucks, Pool Cleaner, Bula, Cody Thompson, fuck I suck at this, Muncal, Grease Me Up Woman, Chris Fleury, Exotic Chaotic, Chaz Hammond, Chris Hill isn't scared, that could be anyone's ass. The Grim Patron, Triple Three, Topher Love, Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Christian Gabriel, Wreck-It Ralphie, Christopher Britt, Drugs Bad, okay, Spider Cat, Cody Richardson, Juris, Dr. Mario, Robbie Air, Cesar, Fallen Snow Kiku, Archangel Otaku, Daniel, Darbles, Thunder Leaps, Decoy Man, The Supreme Chozo Rizu, Devin Collins, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Doug Dorn, David Schroeder, Scotty McGee, Joe the Sandman, MacGyver 88, Super Jess, Heidi Yellow, Eric Hopewell, Flater Flav. Please refrain from tasting the knob. E-Man Trucker, Big the Cat, Leroy Jenkins. Frank Preeves, Growly Wog, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, VOS Rager, Generic Name 238, Graham Kennedy, G9 PSX, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Maverick Marty, Diablo Spartan, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell Me Why? Faded Sufferance, Holmes, Trooper Galactus, Liquor Like Luigi, Phil Lencher, Isaias, Bartman Forever, James Juan Francesco, It's That Nerd, James, Sharonic, Max Lagroom, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Can't Destroy Her, Jake Carter, Thrill Ho, J Nasty 15, The Big Deal, Jay Callahan, Jeff Leopard, Beaver Boy, Laces Out Dan, Johnny from Virginia, Oroku Saki's Gardner, Chucker 22, Jordan, Zombie Xy, Jeff Bergeron, Stud Still Smash, Steaming Wooly, No One Cares, Too Much Karma, Justin Blair, Justin Tate, Jinxie 425, Filling My Mouth with Farts, Sleeper Hit, Jort King Keegs, Kevin Kellums, My Left Nut, Kevin Monroe, Marcus Mendoza, Ryan Kinchin, Postman, Landon Turquoise, Game Boy Gannon, Aaron Lawson, Gabe, Mark Sneed, Lucas Shaman, Leroy Westrich, Mikey Hag, Angry Ticks, Raging Randy, Alex McIntyre, Put It in Age, Savage Boosh, Lord Salazar, Just Car Pranks, Beef Dingleberry, McCracken, Standard Ass Brian, Zonko 504, Morgan, Mr. Arkansas, JSK Fusick, Jude Bowser Jr., Ruined Bowser's Fury, Nick Creature, Musty Beetle, Just James, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Wilco, Frosty Bear, Lord Palmerston, Ryan Perry, Wimp of Stupid Stooges, TTRPG, Profound, Daddy Secret Little Chubby, Hits Meals, Randy Barrage, Horrornostalgia, a podcast, Siegfried, Big Daddy Randall, Handsome Major Angus, Mizongo Esquire, Titan 420, Brian Richmond, Monstrous the Boner, Wyatt the Surgeon Who's Not a Surgeon, Rowe, Madam Nudsitch, Dazer 8, so Ryan 4664, Squeak Nuts, Mercury 869, Sam Carpenter, Storm Beagle, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scott Brooks, Captain Asbury Juice, Steve Dulk, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Super Saiyan, Safarioth, Stains World, DBXJ, Shoeboxers, Captain Steve N, Jimothy, Scotty J, Sour Goatface, Squints, Ryan Stemmerding, Gannon's Magnum Dong. Of course, that would be the one I would ship up on, of course. Spooky Dookie, Ted Explosion, Captain Black Silver, Scary Terry, T-Bear 87, Mike Maloney, Tadpole, Thomas Smith, Bot Fokker, Timothy Sabrinsky, Doogie, Beers of War, Fuzzy 99, Quiet Place Queen, Travis Sanders, Mr. Jabrodi, Cone Bread, I use small words to help Adam say it more good, Because 19, Penguin Milk, Wolf Magic 21, Lord Longron, Bot Huge and Dom II, Tyler Patchell, Ryan Whitcomb, John Woodruff, Rush's Dog Walker, Works for Me, Dean Donian, Wolfgang Darren, Earl, Darth Skywalter, Kia Pup, Mizuru, the okayest of muffins, Zane Donovan, Zach Shepard, and Matt Zeus. That was not my best round of shoutouts, but we made it. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you. Talk to you later.